and welcome to the first television show. Obviously, this isn't the first ever television show, because if it were, I'd look a bit like this.
Good evening, Britain.
No, this is the first television show. The show that turns the spotlight onto those all-important and unrepeatable first times in a top celebrity's life. It could be their first child, their first love, or as Chris Evans calls her, Billy Piper. So let's see who is our very first television show guest. He's an actor, a comedian, and a rapidly rising star. In fact, if comedy is the new rock and roll, then this man is a session singer for John Denver. He's currently on our TV screens, where he makes up half of one of television's top double acts. And I must say, I've wanted to get him on this show ever since the funny one said he couldn't make it. If you haven't already guessed it, he is, of course, the blonde one from Armstrong and Miller, is Ben Miller.
It's me.
That's your posh chair. Ben, well, it is Ben Miller, isn't it? I thought you were a blonde fella. That's what we were told.
I've changed my image. Now I'm here.
Thank you for coming on the show, Ben. You are, of course, my first guest. Do you remember the first time we ever met?
Oh, no.
Now, as you know, Ben, our lives are shaped by those important first experiences, and tonight we're going to explore those defining moments that have made you, Ben Miller, the man you are today. Without further ado, let's reveal your very own wall of firsts. Do you see? As you can see, there is a wall which lists a variety of firsts, and I'm sure you've got a few favourites already. Cock up. Luckily for you, this is my show, so I get to choose the ones that we discuss. Are you relaxed?
Reasonably.
Let's go to your very first on this show and see what it is. It is your first crush. Oh, do you see? So, Ben, who was the girl that you wanted to polish your conkers? Who did you have your first crush on?
I actually had a crush at primary school. That's a terrible
Starting young, we like it.
I had a mad, passionate fling with a girl called Helen Lithgow in the book corner.
But was she the first crush you had, though, Ben?
The first, yeah, my first crush. Well, I was quite keen on Miss Tyndall.
On who?
Miss Tyndall.
OK, now, we all look back and think, weren't our primary school teachers very, very sexy? Then we look at a picture of what they actually looked like, and we realise, oh, no, fair play, she's quite fit, man. She's saucy. This is Miss Tyndall, is it?
She's gorgeous.
She is. But you were using Helen Lithgow to get her home, weren't you?
Well, we used to, yeah.
We know it all, Ben. Don't keep any secrets from us, please.
Well, what? Yeah, I mean, Helen and I, because, yeah, no, we used to snog in front of Miss Tyndall. I can only think that in some really infantile way, I was trying to make Miss Tyndall jealous.
Now, don't be all coy. We know that's exactly what you were trying to do, isn't it? You were using an 8-year-old girl, you were 8 at the time, so it's not quite so bad, but you were using her to try and impress your teacher, weren't you?
Yeah, and I think Miss Tyndall actually, I think it was actually working.
But what about Helen Lithgow? I mean, was it just kissing, or did you get to fondle her fuzzy felt?
I don't think we were allowed to play with fuzzy felt at that age. I think that was, I think you weren't allowed to do that till you were 12 or 13.
Okay, that's right. Well, it does sound like you could probably identify Helen by her dental records, but can you recognise her snog-ravaged face? We've got a picture here. This is your school picture from quite a long time ago. Can you spot Helen on
there? Helen is, that's Helen.
There she is. Oh, bless. And she's lovely.
I remember that little puffy blouse. Had little things that used to... They got very attractive.
And do you feel guilty about using Helen in that way? Because basically that's what you were doing, isn't it? Is using her to get at Miss Tyndall.
Why are you standing behind me here? I've never seen that happen on any show.
I think you sort of know why I'm standing behind you, but not quite. It's not Helen Lithgow. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Miss Tyndall. Miss Tyndall, thank you very much for coming along. Do you remember Ben? Do you remember Ben at all from school?
Yes, of course. Yes.
Do you remember him snogging Helen Lithgow in front of you?
No, sorry. I don't remember him trying to impress me at all.
You thought she might actually have been quite impressed by that, didn't you? Why do you think he was so unsuccessful in winning your love?
Because he was 8.
Yeah. Yeah, that would probably explain it. As Miss Tyndall remembers very little about you, we're going to give you another chance to attract her attention and get that first kiss. Come back with me to 1974. We're going to take a seat there, we've actually recreated your actual classroom from that year.
1974, it was just a rubbish desk.
Shut up! It says Leeds United. Shit. It could be any time. Now, the gorgeous Miss Tyndall is busily marking books. The school bell will ring at any moment now, Ben, so you've got a limited amount of time to try and attract her attention using some of the things you might have found in a crazy 70s classroom.
Oh, wow.
Put your cap on like a good boy.
On.
There we go. If you're successful, your reward... You look ridiculous! Now listen, if you're successful in attracting her attention, your reward will be a soft kiss from Miss T's very own lips. Should you fail, you'll live forever having never experienced her warm and tender embrace. Your sanity's at stake, Ben, and your time starts now. Try and attract her attention. With a gentle cough to start with. Right. That's what's the most romantic.
Always works. Look. Look. Look, I'll draw you a flower. Actually, it's impossible because it's an Etch-a-Sketch.
It's more like cock and ball. Winner with the mastermind, Ben.
Mastermind.
Take the string off.
Fantastic knowledge. General knowledge, miss.
The coloured pegs.
The instructions are in German.
It's not working. Is it gonna?
What else have we got?
Quick, get your clackers out. There's some clackers in there. Clackers always impress a lady. Clackers.
Oh, this never fails. Miss!
Listen, I know you don't want to hear this, but I'm hearing that you definitely looked up there. I think we can see this clearly on the slow motion replays. There we go. The eyes are up. She smiles. Ben, she loves you, Ben. At last, you can claim your reward. Come and get your kiss from the beautiful Miss Tyndall.
I can't kiss Miss Tyndall.
Come and give her a snog. Was that good after all these years?
I can't believe she's not still unmarried, is she? Just curious. Well, be missed.
We'll think about that later on. Let's move on to your next first, Ben, which is your first near-death experience.
Oh.
Now, for a man so young, you've had several brushes with death, but
several scrapes with the Reaper.
Can you remember your first? I'll give you a clue. Let me give you a clue.
Yeah, give me a clue.
There's a sock, there's some matches, and there's some cigarette ends there.
No.
What does this look like?
No, that's so hideously embarrassing. No.
Yes, it is, Ben, yeah.
Oh no, I'm never going to live this down my entire life.
A sock,
My entire life.
a couple of cigarettes, and some matches. Tell the story, all right? I'll make it sound
we were going
worse.
down the stream. Graham Thubron said, I've got some cigarettes, you want to go try some smoking? So we went and tried smoking.
You tried smoking.
And I had a sort of reaction to it or something.
I had a reaction to it.
I just went completely mental. And I had a sort of, I don't know what it was, I had a sort of panic attack or something, and I was thinking, oh, I'm going to die, I'm going to die. I started running down the stream, and I just totally freaked out, and I started sort of hyperventilating, and I fainted by the side of the stream. This isn't the bad bit of the story. The bad bit of the story is that I sort of... Oh, this is so embarrassing. I was only 11 or something.
That's no excuse, is it?
I don't know why, but I just didn't... I thought, I've made such a fuss, I better sort of pretend to be properly ill. And so, I was just thinking, you know, I suppose, because it was such a wussy thing to do, really, I sort of had to pretend I'd had some sort of brain hemorrhage or something. I was lying, but I pretended to be unconscious. And this is so embarrassing. One of my friend's dads carried me all the way across the fields and sort of put me in the back of the car and took me to hospital. At which point I think I really should own up that I'm all right. What I did was I was lying, it was so pathetic. I was lying on the bed and I was going, oh, actually, I think I'm feeling OK now. And one of the nurses just came in and said to the doctor, and the doctor said, and so one of the nurses said to me, we just found a match in your sock. If only I hadn't put that match in that sock, then I would have got away with it. Everyone would have thought I'd had a brain hemorrhage or something, and I wouldn't be living down this terrible incident, which is brought up in our family, sort of You know, sort of every time we get together.
But do you
So now my dad doesn't have to tell them one by one. At least I don't have to. Hopefully we'll just get this out of the way and everyone can hear the story.
Do you smoke now?
I don't smoke now, no. And kids, I learnt the hard way. Smoking doesn't pay.
No, that's a shame. I was going to offer you a cigarette. You sure? No, tell you what, Ben. No, I've got a light as well, if you want. Nice legs, huh? That's your first near-death experience. Let's move on to your next first, which is your first rival. Who was Ben Miller's first rival?
Oh, no. Oh, yeah.
No.
Oh, there's my nemesis. Was my nemesis.
Oh, you've got a nemesis?
I had
wow,
a nemesis at college, yeah.
Fantastic.
I had a nemesis.
I'll tell you.
When I was at secondary school, I was quite good at running, I thought. And I thought I'm really quite something of a middle-distance runner, actually. And I got the school record for middle-distance running, and we used to have the sort of inter-school competitions, and we had about 2 or 3 of them, and I just won by a mile. I won by an absolute mile. I lapped everyone doing the 1,500 metres. Yeah. And then I sort of notched up the school record for the 1,500, forget the time, 5:16 or something. Then I went to a meeting and we met a guy called Simon Brown, who then proceeded to absolutely thrash me.
Simon Brown.
Simon Brown. He was just brilliant. He was absolutely brilliant. I wasn't surprised if he became an athlete.
What school? He used to go to the rough school,
Went to Brian Lee's, yeah.
What was the nickname for Brian Lee's? I bet it's very amusing.
Was it Brian Wheeze?
No, we were told Brian Flees.
Brian Flees.
And what was you were Malbank?
We were Malbank, yeah.
Do you remember the nickname for that school?
Malwank.
Kids are brilliant, aren't they? We actually checked with the school, and this is true. Your school record still stands for the 1,500 metres, which I think is absolutely fantastic. Yeah, that's not true. That is absolutely true. But the thing is, we thought there's only one man that could beat that time, and that's you, Ben Miller. We've got a running machine over here. We'd like you to run the 1,500 metres, but wait for a second. It's not fair for you to run on your own, is it? And to be honest, I was going to do it, but I can't really be arsed. So you paid him all these years. It's not Simon Brown, it's Stephen Brown. Stephen Brown. Stephen. Now, it is Stephen Brown, not Simon Brown. Sorry about that. Do you remember Ben at all?
I don't. Honestly, do you might recognise me from this. Well,
You are absolutely brilliant. You are absolutely fantastic.
Now, what was your time again? For the
5:16. What was yours?
4:20.
That's over a minute quicker, man. You're rubbish. Yeah, really good at running and stuff.
I was actually doing better than that in the first year.
Wow. But did you become an athlete or?
No, I joined the army and injured my ankle.
Well, that's the thing, you see. We were going to have you two have a run-off, but to be honest, I don't think it's fair. I think he'd still beat you, even though he's a bit of a cripple. But...
Ian. Believe you me, he hasn't broken his leg.
Oh, no. We are going to settle this once and for all. Join me down here now at the arena. Ben, you're playing there for the Malbank. Let's have a cheer for the Malwankers! A cheer for the Brian Fleet! OK, these are your 2 men. I've got a whistle in my pocket so we can make it all official. Are you ready? You work the machine just by turning the handle. Very simple. On your marks, get set. We've had the drugs. Will we get the rock and roll? Join us in part 2 to find out. Could have been worse, Ben. You may have had to snog him as well. You know what I mean? Welcome back to the first television show. Now, what will be the first in this second half? Let's have a look at my file of first, and it is your first serious piece of writing. Have you always had that burning ambition to write?
No, well, I didn't really. No, it's just sort of. I think I wanted to be in a band. Is what I wanted to do when I was at school. Yeah, I wanted to be a musician. And no, I didn't get any idea about writing. I think I wrote an essay when I was at secondary school that was entered for an essay competition.
Oh, really?
Very moving piece, all about Guy Fawkes. Imagine this: a world where Guy Fawkes is imprisoned within the body of just a balloon and a pair of trousers. He's a living man, tortured year after year, burned for the same crime, never released, a kind of living hell. And apparently Mr. Lighton thought that was quite good. It was that got entered for a, I don't know what kind of competition, but...
Well, an essay competition it would be, wouldn't it? What would we have found in your pencil case? Anything crazy in there?
I always loved my geometrical instruments. I think that combination of the set square protractor and a ruler that's too small to measure anything at all was a real breakthrough.
You're known as a boffin, I think.
I'm a bit of a boffin, yeah, definitely.
Or at our school, a Joey. I don't know. Have you ever used a quill?
No, excuse me. Yeah. This is something I've always taken issue with, you see.
Yeah.
It's always taken issue with this. Nothing wrong with being interested in things. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. And being creepy is something different, right? Being creepy is when you're trying to please the teacher.
You're right.
Okay?
Yeah.
Whereas being interested in things is a wholesome, slightly daredevil, risky, fringe activity.
Now, you were going to bring your first ever poem tonight, weren't you? Have you got that for us?
Oh.
Ah. Well, never mind. We thought you'd forget to bring it. So we went to your parents, and they gave us this, the collected works of Ben Miller from Class 1C from 1978. This is absolutely amazing. I've been reading this.
It's gold dust.
Oh, it's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. But I think we should
What's
hear...
it saying? Other work.
Other work, you see? Other work. I don't know what it would be. It's an amazing...
See, quite alternative even then, do you know what I mean? Alternative work.
Dav is a bender. I don't know. Now, I think we should hear a sample of this magnificent prose right now, but quite honestly, I can't do this masterpiece any justice. I'm TV's Ian Lee, for God's sake. So instead, I've managed to find a trained Shakespearean actor to give a far more moving rendition. He's unplugged, unrehearsed and undressed. It's Xander Armstrong.
Ladies and gentlemen, this piece is entitled simply Stuck. The scruffy, spiky, dirty, wet mass of the thin, desperate little kitten, scratched and clawed hopelessly at the damp, crumbling bark. Its eyes, full of confused and exasperated self-pity, caught me in mid-step and drilled me through with their pleading despair. I tried to walk on, clutching my Mac closer to evade the prevailing wind. However, one wretched meow yanked at my vulnerable heartstrings with such ferocity that I soon averted my course and began to endeavour to grasp at a convenient handhold which was contained in the grimy, lichen-covered bough above me. Thank you.
Scruffy, dirty, spiky... Basically, a wet cat looked at you, isn't it? That's what that piece was about.
Poetry, Ian.
You should have brought...
Let's not try and pin it down. Let's not try and pin it down.
Well...
Was it a cat? Was it my feelings about the cat? Yeah. Anyway, was it... as I began to endeavour to scratch the prevailing bark.
Now, it's time for your final first, Ben, so I'm going to pick this card completely at random. And the last first is your first record. Now, I've got it on good authority that your second record is by the Thin White Duke himself, David Bowie. What was that?
It was Boys Keep Swinging. A superb track, accompanied by a rather marvellous video, in which David changed his whole look. He was always doing that.
Yeah, it's David Bowie on the internet.
Boys keep swinging. Always.
I like the
Work it out.
Yes.
Because I've got two ways of singing. I can either sing like that or like that.
Now, that is very cool, because that was the second record you bought. But then, what was the first record you bought?
I'm just going to come out with this very quickly. Wild West Hero by ELO, and there's a reason.
Well, this will be here the reason. You mean this crazy hit that got all the way to the top 6? It means it got to number 6. I was actually held off the top 5 spot by Father Abraham in the Snow Song. Why do you like this so much?
I'll tell you why, because it had a fantastic... I was really into the guitar, and there was a brilliant brilliant guitar solo in it. There was a couple of bars of guitar that I just thought were fantastic in it.
Well, let's I think we've got a little VT of it. Let's have a little treat now. You've been so good for us. Let's hear some of Wild West Hero by ELO. That's it. Listening to that song obviously inspired you to write your own music, and your parents very kindly gave us a tape of some songs that you recorded in your bedroom when you were a youngster. Let's have a listen to that now, shall we? It gets better. This is it. Said it's on the wind. Oh, said it's on the wind. Come on, everyone. Oh, it's on the wind. Hang on. Wait. On the wind. That was fantastic. Now, Ben, naturally, once you had the songs, you decided to form a band. We've actually got the poster here for your band. This was put up on a school wall somewhere. The band's called Achilli, which is Latin for eagle. Right, sixth form band. Also says, talent not necessary. Who else was in Achilli? Is it Paul Sutcliffe and Simon Greenwood?
Well, Richard Davenport, my friend, was in
The Dav.
Achilli. The Dav might have dropped out, but it looks like Dav's dropped. Perhaps that's why we wanted a singer.
To replace the Dav.
I think it was just a cheap way of meeting some girls.
So the time was Paul Sutcliffe and Simon...
Paul Sutcliffe, Simon Greenwood. Paul Sutcliffe, Sutty on bass.
Sutty!
Sutty. Simon Greenwood.
Greeny!
Greeny. No, Simon Greenwood.
Oh, right. Did you play many
Simon
gigs?
played drums. We played quite a few gigs, Ian, as you mentioned it.
Well, let's hear about some of them, come on.
Well, we played at School Hall supporting Section B. Actually, after that gig, my friend Paul Scott took me to one side in the schoolyard and he said, hey, you know what, Ben? I think Section B might make it. I went, really? Thinking, damn. Section B are going to make it. What's going to happen to Achilli?
Now, not many people know this, but as well as holding a school athletics record and obtaining a PhD in novel quantum effects in quasi-zero-dimensional mesoscopic electronic structures, you also incredibly made your very first guitar. We've got that here.
You are joking.
No, I'm not joking, Ben. This is amazing! Look at this, man. It's fantastic. You've even drawn on where you're going to put the pickups there. You've got your little input socket there. This is fantastic. I mean, did anyone ever use this as a cricket bat and you go, whoa, 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 no, that's my guitar? Did that ever happen?
Hey, come on, my darling.
Let's look at you. Is that the guitar you used to record that song?
Basically, this was basically because I heard a story that Brian May, out of Queen, had made his own guitar. And I hadn't really thought mine through quite as thoroughly as I might have done, because I got as far as doing that bit there, and I thought I got to that, and I just remember thinking, oh no, because this is actually really thick. Isn't it? And I just remember thinking, oh God, I'm never going to do it. Just looking at it going, oh. God, it's really hard. It's really difficult. And because I didn't have an electric guitar, so I just sit there going, oh God, I haven't even made a way of putting the strings on the top.
How long was that an ongoing project for?
About 5 years.
Well, listen, Ben, we're coming to the end of the show, but what have we discovered this evening about you? Well, we've covered love, death, the highs. Hold on to that for a second.
Okay.
The highs, the lows, even the fruits of your creativity. And there was that essay about a cat. But what better way to celebrate the first things in your life than to reform your first ever band? Join me up here, please.
You are joking.
Come and stand up there. Your first ever band to play the first ever record you bought. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to play Wild West Hero. It's Achilli 2 featuring on drums, Simon Greenwood. Paul Sutcliffe on keyboards, myself, Ian Lee on the stylophone, and on lead guitar and vocals, peoples, the one and only Mr. Ben Miller playing Wild Rex Hero. Let's hear it. Take it away.
Oh, yeah. Come on, everyone.
Friend, let them live to be free. Riding in to the sunset, I wish I could be. Said all right. With cowboy. Yeah, got it.
I can't tell you what that means to me.
And I've got to say... Now, that's funny. I thought that hat might make you look gay, but I was completely wrong there.